And once you learn how to do that, then you can bring in all the stakeholders and you can get into programs that'll help you and train you on how to build it. But that first step is you have to design a business model that is desirable.
When I initially moved back to Pensacola, I had a meeting with Lloyd. Lloyd invited me for breakfast, and I was telling him, man, I still have an idea for the entertainment industry. This is what I wanted to do. He was like, all right, I got Startup on the Blocks. So I need you to start coming to Startup on the Blocks and get a little more information on how to work through the tech ecosystem and take your idea and we'll get you where you need to go. My company is called The Know, is an app that is streamlining business for the entertainment industry. Yeah, so if you're a musician, what you would do is pretty much jump on the platform, you'll create a profile, but the way we created the profile is pretty much a cleaner way. So now if they want more information about you, you'll connect your social media platforms, your streaming platforms, and that way they can go directly to it. What we also have included is your calendar. So pretty much you can set your days, you can set your price for your days and automate your booking. So initially talking to Lloyd, my idea was all here, it was there, it was over here, it was over there. It was like, all right, Quinn, I get it. You got a lot that you want to do, but we need you to bring it in just a little bit and then work on your pitch, your story, and how you're going to bring it full circle to get people to understand what you're trying to create.
Most of the programs here wasn't inclusive, and so we said we'll focus on helping founders of color. We also start at the beginning of the thing, at the idea stage, whereas a lot of the programs you see here locally, they start after you're up, and that's not very efficient unless if you don't have a lot of money, you can't recover from your mistakes. And the lean startup system, it actually helps you make mistakes faster before you spend a lot of money. You don't actually start building anything until you got customer buy-in.
There was a need for small businesses to bring brand awareness to their business. I see there's a lot of makers and bakers that they're making all of these goodies and these products, but they can't market it, they can't sell it at the same time, and there needs to be kind of like that middleman, that middle person to help bring economic growth to some of the small businesses in Pensacola. So Taste of Pensacola, I came up with that idea during the pandemic when I saw things at that time that Amazon couldn't fulfill. They didn't even have those products, but the local people in the community, they did. And so there was a ton of people coming out saying, hey, I make masks. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. All the local people here that are just as talented that can actually make those products. And so I wanted to kind of showcase who they were. So with Taste of Pensacola, our income streams, we have several of them. We have the corporate America, we do corporate gifting, just regular consumers, different Pensacola natives that don't live here that want to purchase our boxes, like a taste of weddings, distribution. So we also do bulk sales. So for a private airline, if they want some local snacks and goodies on their passenger flights, they will come to Taste of Pensacola and we will source their vendors here locally. And we'll give a small business owner an opportunity to have reoccurring monthly sales. I've always had a really big vision for Taste of Pensacola. I knew that it could go beyond just local. I know that maybe other communities could possibly use the same platform that I'm trying to build. And I always have these big visions, but I never know how to even get there. Where do I start? I know it's more than, there's a lot of technical things behind it. I know there's a lot of research, but that connection, I never had it until, thankfully, I met and was introduced to Startups on the Blocks and was able to just learn more about how to grow it in terms of data. Things I just never thought about, framework, words like traction. There's a lot of things that I just did not know about and language that I need to know in order to get funding for my business. There's just a lot that I didn't know.
I would go to the stores and look online. They didn't have a wide variety of natural hair products about 8 years ago. And the ones that they did have, the ingredients, it would say that they were all natural. And when I would research the ingredients, a lot of the ingredients were not natural. I make everything, my shampoo, conditioner, I have an oil that I make, and I have 2 different separate butters. Like I had some people who were completely bald and grew their hair. It's about giving women their confidence back in their hair. I have this salon and then I have a second salon, and I have my products in about 5 beauty supply stores. So I need a manufacturer to keep up with the demand at this point. Startup on the Blocks has helped my business grow. Send me to different people. I'm able to do different pitch competitions to apply for grants in the community for small businesses. Lloyd's a really good person to connect with. He has a lot of resources here in the community that can help small businesses grow. If you have a product out there and you're trying to go big time, he's the person that you would want to meet with.
So it's really important to have some type of support because 9 times out of 10, most founders start out on their own. And to have somebody that has an idea of how the ecosystem works and is able to tap into other resources and bring back to the community, and that pretty much has encountered some of the roadblocks or going through the same roadblocks that we're currently going through and understands where you're at, your culture and how you respond to things, is a big help because you don't really have too many people that have access to what we have access to here in the community. And a lot of people believe that you have to leave and go to bigger cities to do the things that we're doing here. But I mean, it's one thing to have exposure, but you have to actually know it's here in the community in order to take advantage of the resources. So I get approached and I talk to friends all the time that wants to either start an idea or hear that I'm actually doing the app and wants to know more information about how are you doing it or what's the process, what's the path. I'm like, man, we have somebody here, Startup on the Blocks, Lloyd Richard. And Lloyd is here, he's a great resource to the community and to founders that's trying to learn the ecosystem. So join Startup on the Blocks.
Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome to Startup Founder Best Practices. We're glad to be here another Thursday night. We're just rocking and rolling, and we have Webster with us here tonight. Crystal wasn't able to make it tonight, but she'll be coming on next month on 18th. I apologize for that confusion on that. So glad to have you here, Webster.
How's it going?
Fantastic, and really appreciate you coming on tonight. And so I thought it would be a good idea to get you on since you're making a lot of progress with your solution and moving forward somewhat. So I thought we'd be a good time to chat about your maybe do a product demo and I know you've been doing some deployment in different countries and stuff. And so I thought, helping everybody be aware of that would be good. And also the Sky Deck thing is going on right now. And so we need to remind people about that and to try to get them to go ahead and apply for that. And yeah, so just also just find out what it's like to be a startup founder out here grinding and trying to make it happen. Yeah. Yeah. So and then to top it off, you're a politician too.
Yeah, I'm an elected official.
Yeah. So man, that takes a lot of guts and a lot of nerve to step into that arena.
Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate you out there fighting for your local area. And I guess since you're out on the West Coast there in San Francisco, Silicon Valley area that you can probably give us some updates on what's going on out there too. Yeah. But first, give me a few minutes here to kind of let's give a shout out to some of share my screen, and then we can give a shout out to some of our sponsors. And then if we got any new folks on here tonight, we can also let them know what our program is all about it as well. Yes. All righty. Okay. So definitely glad to have you on here tonight. And let's see what we got here. And so part of being a startup founder is you have to do partnerships and in order to kind of make things grow. And these are some of our partner both organizations and actually companies with products that give perks to founders and help us learn how to serve founders and all of that good stuff. And what I've been noticing, Webster, is the founders are really starting to leverage the AI to help them out with their business models and their products. Are you seeing a lot of that over there where you're at?
Most definitely. It's definitely industry. It's like moving the whole industry, and things are moving a lot faster too. So I've definitely seen that a lot.
Yeah. And I saw some pop up in my Google feed that, and I know Y Combinator doesn't do it too often, but they let in a solo founder, so that's also a sign of things maybe changing there too.
Yeah, I mean, nowadays, like with these AI agents, like you
Yeah,
don't need like 5 or 6. I mean, the purpose of using or having like a team is to offload tasks. If you're a CEO, you're usually the product manager. If you code, you're technical. You're also doing sales, marketing, all that other stuff. But with these agents, it's like, sometimes you can, instead of telling somebody else what to do, you just tell an agent what to do, and you can come back with like different ideas. And you can have, I mean, there's so many different platforms that even if you're looking at doing design work,
yeah,
marketing, all that stuff, you can use AI and just like, help. It helps reduce the costs and stuff too. So
yeah. That sounds really great, and so yeah, and so like some of our partners, are definitely AI driven. Like Coda's definitely AI driven. Make startups, their platform is AI driven. PitchBob is all about AI agents. So and even Ash with the lean stack stuff, they leverage AI in their platform as well. Startup science. Everybody's is you know is just embracing the technology and kind of moving forward with it. So yeah, definitely. So I never thought about they always say AI and like a co-pilot thing and but I guess when you think about all these ways you can use AI, you can almost think of it as, in addition to being a co-pilot, like a partner or something. Yeah, to kind of, help you with everything. I never thought about it from the partner standpoint or thought about it from the, yeah, I'm just thinking out loud here. I'm wondering if I thought about AI as a partner, if when I'm working with it, how would that change some of the responses? I don't know. It's just a thought came to mind.
yeah, one of the things I think about AI is hopefully it doesn't become like a yes man.
Right, right.
Sometimes you need that feedback that's critical, and you can tell the model or whatever just to be you have to know a little bit about prompt engineering and like
Yeah,
how to set things up, because that will improve the results of the output, you know.
yeah, yeah. And I see the AI keeps improving. When I do a prompt, it sort of anticipates what I may want to do with that information that it gives me back and gives me suggestions on that. And that's been a really, really, really nice feature that uh, I think as well. Yeah. But it takes money to run a startup and an organization. So these are some of our sponsors, and so we're excited, to continue to have their support and the activities we do for founders. And yeah, it's uh, pretty major. Big shout out to FPL. They're supporting us having the Lean Stack platform. And by the way, everybody, the Lean Stack platform is changing. So if you don't, right now we have unlimited license for the business model design course. So if you know somebody that could benefit from the platform, just definitely have them, go to our cocoainstitute.org get started page and join in on our startup um, community because after I think probably starting in February we're not gonna have unlimited licenses, and so it's a great opportunity for founders, to learn how to do the business modeling and use some of the tools in the Lean Stack platform to kind of move forward. Yeah. So yeah, it's all about having the tools to help you on your journey. And so, like, we have the Black Founders Program, and that's where the Black Founders participate in our 30 and 90-day cohorts, and we got a 30-day cohort going on now. So feel free to hop into that, because with the AI, you don't really need 30 days to figure out how to whip your business model these days, right? Yeah. Well, so yeah.
You just need 30 minutes.
Yeah. So for those who don't realize it, for our business model design course, which is like right now the way the license we have is like 4 workshops, but I think when our new license is next year, it's going to have more of a video first type thing, and just breaking the information more down in the bite size, and not have to so it's going to be more where you can take the information bite size and kind of move forward with it. But the deal is the tools for the but doing your business model, we kind of put a lot of that stuff into the business idea prompt, and so you can up until about 2-3 weeks ago, we were just running it in a normal chat GPT mode or whatever. But now we tell the founders to run it in a deep research mode, so the information you get back on your business model is much more robust. Jonathan, I see he's on tonight, and he was in networking as well. Yeah, so we appreciate him, getting involved and learning some of those stuff, and definitely want to get as many founders out there up to speed on this stuff. I was at an event today at my old with some of the folks I used to work with at Air Force Research Lab, and they have 3 of the researchers have ideas, and they were trying to get their patents and stuff licensed and stuff. So in that way, but it's to me, even a program like this Lean Stack, just learning how to do business modeling really would make a big difference for a whole lot of people. So, but the opportunities for you all out there is there. We don't care if you're a nonprofit or you got a traditional business or startup business or whatever. You need business modeling. So it's a class you can take to stress test your business idea. And we have cohort 6 going on right now, and our demo day is scheduled for the 11th. And so this is kind of new, Webster. I kind of have to apologize to you for this, because you participated in one of my cohorts, and you actually won the pitch. So now what we're doing is, it's like if you're willing to set up a Florida business, you're eligible to get the money.
Oh, so I should incorporate in Florida.
But a lot of the startup programs, if
I could do that. I could do that today. Give me a virtual office, and
yeah, that's exactly right. And and I don't know why I didn't do that before, but it dawned on me, it doesn't make sense, not to let the folks outside of Florida not take advantage of the money. So, as long as you can, since our sponsor is putting up the money, wants it to be Florida founders, as long as you're willing to set up an office, you can actually, participate in getting in the demo day and get the money. So like you won the pitch competition, but since you were out of Florida, you didn't get the money. But so we're not doing it like that anymore. We want to give all the folks an opportunity to get the money. And then we're rolling into our 90-day program, and I think that would be good for you too, Webster, is because like you got a product now, and the more you understand how to sell that, it's going to be really beneficial to you in the long run on onboarding customers and stuff like that, in a more expedited fashion. So and that for that particular demo day. We're going to have it in December, I believe, early December, and we're going to be giving away $5,000, for divided up between 3 founders. But it's definitely a slower pace, but it's still really good. Learn about the problem discovery and the job to be done, and then developing that customer forces model and jobs to be done model. It really makes a big difference in your sales pitch, being able to onboard customers. Right. Yeah, and so for those out there that are new, not familiar with what we do, we basically trying to help you learn these things, designing, pitching, and launching business models, recruiting, and you use that your pitch for your business model to recruit co-founders, securing mentors, and partners, and so the Lean Stack is a milestone-based approach. So you learn the startup milestone, so you know where you are. We have startup science. That's a life cycle operation approach, so you know what to do in each phase of your startup. But once you learn how to talk about your business, then you can unlock all the resources and in the ecosystem. So that's what that's all about. We have this program called IP Launchpad, where we partner with Black Innovation Leaders of Florida. But anybody's welcome to actually get access to that patent and trademark training as well, and that's on our get started page. Yeah, we like to use AI agents, so for everything for the founders there too. So it's pretty heavy, but I won't waste much time. But I do have one chart I want to mention here real quick. So I'm looking at this chart, and I think this one would be maybe good for you and I to talk about a little bit, Webster. Let me see if I can find my cursor here. You have to make it bigger, I guess. But anyway, you all see that profit curve. You see that revenue curve, and you see that traction curve. So all the people that want to help you, all the people that got money that want to help you, they want to know how much traction you got. So that's the quickest way for them to understand, if you have something somebody wants. And so the deal there, I found my cursor finally. But you see the difference between this revenue curve and profit curve here. There's a lot of space.
You're going negative.
so you've launched your product, so you got to be somewhere in this purple or whatever this color is here, right?
I think we had I mean, we're in the purple area, definitely.
Because I think at the end of this go area, that's the time where you start selling your product, but you launch, but not generating a revenue yet, and so that means you're
on the revenue curve. I mean, we're at the bottom.
So you're still flat, but you're spending time and effort, and so this white area down here, the distance between these two curves, that's what the startup ecosystem is there to help you fill that gap. So like anything from get into a training program that gives you, 5,000, 10,000, 40,000 or whatever, that helps you fill the gap, or if you, like in your case, I think you get some free cloud service. So that's helping you fill the gaps. There's kind of but also you leverage the startup ecosystem in that Berkeley Skydeck program, right?
Yes, we did.
So that was like free labor and stuff, right?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Yeah.
Definitely, we had a lot of stuff. I mean, when you're in the beginning, you have to get those resources, because otherwise it will be too difficult for you to really get things done on your own, especially if you're in the AI space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because like renting GPUs and all the compute that costs money.
Yeah.
And so even without like going through getting an NVIDIA, I think even AWS gives you like $5,000 in credits that last you probably like a year or two.
Yeah.
And so those are things that you can use, and even with the Microsoft for startups,
Yeah.
to at least get a prototype or an MVP built,
Yeah, and so that's those perks and stuff. That's kind of what the ecosystem does, and our startup science platform, it has uh, some perks in there, like you get like 25,000 free Microsoft Pitch Bomb. Our partner there, you get a bunch of perks too of stuff you don't have to pay for, and the one Coda, they give you 6 months of their software with unlimited AI, and also where you can use Coda to run your back office and keep track of stuff. It's a real popular software that and I think they've integrated with Grammarly now. So when you see Grammarly now, they have uh, uh, a document down there that's actually Coda. So that's pretty neat. But the whole idea, you can use the ecosystem, all the programs in the ecosystem to kind of help you with your expenses on this negative, here for the effort you're doing. So, but you have to learn about the startup ecosystem so you know how to talk about your business and get these opportunities. And so, like, in my startup journey, I got an opportunity like for 25,000. I got an opportunity for 30 some thousand. I got an opportunity for 40 some thousand. And so another opportunity for 5,000. So just all that stuff adds up to cover this space here, and that's why we have this program. And so startups can learn the best practices for building a startup and take advantage of all this negative area down here. Try to wipe as much of that out as possible. But yeah, don't sell yourself short. So would you, if you had to put a dollar value on the Skydeck program, what would you kind of think that was? Be from a dollar?
From just the help and the network opportunities, I would say, in terms of the value, I think there's a lot of value in it. The free labor and like not even free labor, but like,
Yeah.
The interns, the help you can get, they contribute. And then they have all these workshops that talk about like business models and pitching and putting together your pitch deck and,
Yeah.
all that other stuff. So it's an educational experience too.
Yeah. But what, you're only working on your startup in the program? Did you have to do anything outside of your startup?
No. So I was focused 100% on my company.
Yeah, and that's what sort of confuses me sometimes. Some people say they don't have time to participate in the program, but the program, you're working on your startup. You don't got time to work on your
Yeah.
startup.
Yeah. So, well, the program, it's hybrid. So they have like sessions. So they have like 30 different sessions. They're like Zoom,
Yeah.
in person, but like the first week or so,
Yeah.
everyone goes there. And then you have these sessions. You have mentors you're introduced to, advisors, people in the industry that might potentially give you advice and make those connections that you need,
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
so that application is open right now. So I think we just Google Berkeley Skydeck or something to find that opportunity.
Yeah, so it's Berkeley Skydeck.
Uh-huh.
I think they applications close maybe within a few days or so, or a week maybe.
Okay. Yeah.
But they always extend the deadline. So if you can't make that deadline, it's okay.
Yeah.
And they have basically two different cohorts. One is like their PAD 13, which is like mostly educational. You don't get the $200,000 investment, but you do get access to the same resources as the companies that do get invested in.
Mhm.
I think like the acceptance rate is kind of like around 3% for
Okay.
the CAD 13. It's like 1% for the investment. So
Okay.
it's like they only invest in maybe 20 companies every cycle, and they
Yeah.
get like 2,000 or more, probably more applications now that they've opened it up.
Yeah.
So it's very competitive to get into. But if you get
Yeah.
in there, there's definitely you get access to resources not only in the program but even after the program. So I still have a connection with the university where I can bring on, students to help with my company, as well as they're getting training because a lot of them don't have job experience or work experience
Yeah.
in their industry yet, but some do have some technical skills when it comes to coding.
Yeah.
You just got to set up the opportunity for them and they can contribute. So
Yeah. Well, I think that's kind of like a good opportunity, and now that a lot of the entry level jobs for the coders are not there, I think if these universities and whoever else come up with programs to help put these students out with startups, I think that's going to end up somebody's going to have to come up and figure out something to do with that. Coincidentally, we may have to come up with a program,
yeah,
to do
you
that.
partner with one of the local universities.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
to help the students during that transition for a job, and to me that was one of the reasons why I started working with students, is to help them learn about AI, and so they can be better prepared to get a job when they get out. But I can't really say enough about the ecosystem and what it can do for a founder. But you have to learn how to pitch your business model and stuff here in the green, and there's no shortage of opportunities out there to kind of help you in moving forward with what you're doing. And I can't say that enough, because I think too many of us are leaving money on the table, not taking advantage of these opportunities, or not taking time to learn how to communicate your business model in writing when you're filling out an application. And also, if you fill out an application to be in a pitch competition, that pitch competition is paid $50,000. Uh, you know, and no strings attached. That's a lot of money to not have to worry. To help you along the way. And I think that's kind of my big deal here in trying to communicate this to people, is that why would you not want to take advantage of that? That's kind of what my
you just got
soapbox
to,
is.
you just got to
Yeah.
put the effort and apply. These applications are free.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, and then learning how to fill out the applications. Learning how to communicate what your business is, and learning what's on the applications, and then applying, so you can kind of know what to look for. When even if you're not ready, but just learning what it takes to get into the program. Yeah. So I guess I'll shut up there, because I could talk about that forever, because that's really the reason why we're here now, to be honest with you.
yeah, yeah,
Help people become aware of the opportunity in the startup
yeah.
ecosystem, and to help you move forward. So yeah, so that's kind of we'll leave it at there. So everybody do that Google search for the Skydeck, Berkeley Skydeck program. But yeah, even if you just do startup ecosystem and what are the resources in the startup ecosystem, and just be shocked at what you find.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about what's happening with with you these days. So you can kind of catch us, like just catch the new people up a little bit, on how you got into the startup stuff, and what you've been building, the last year or so.
Yeah. So essentially, like when I was working, I was kind of had an idea of kind of what I wanted to do, because when you're in the industry, you're seeing all the issues and problems, and the barriers to whatever, to efficiency. So, you know, in the case of like our company, it's focused on like digital pathology. And a lot of these companies are scrambling to get data and to develop models and to get their data curated. People want to deploy it. You know, there's no infrastructure in the hospitals and healthcare systems. So what's the quickest way to like help get adoption or help to increase adoption of going digital? You know, is it providing those services that um, you know, help with the storage, help with the infrastructure, the compute, you know, the curation, all that stuff, you know. And so it's like, you know, I'm at one of the top biotech companies in the world, you know, Roche and Genentech,
Yeah.
and they're struggling to get it together. You know, they're the early adopters, you know.
Wow. Yeah.
So so it's like, you know, now I'm just wanting to, you know, get started and to get going. And so I incorporated, I applied to NVIDIA Inception. I got connected with the AWS for startups. They have a startup loft here in San Francisco.
Wow. Okay.
And so you can go there. Like when I first started, that was like a place where you can go and work for free and meet with people, and
Uh-huh.
it's like a open office, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they had technical support there. And you know, and then you got the COD credits, you know, up to this is like when generative AI was like ChatGPT was like just coming out
Yeah.
in the beginning. So this is like ChatGPT launched in I think November of 2022, and then like about 2023.
Yeah. They, you know, they had the developers involved in it, but yeah, so yeah, so did they launch in 2020? Well, yeah, I guess
It's
they
like,
did.
yeah,
You know, 2022. I
it's
guess.
like November 2022. It was towards the end
Yeah.
of the year. And then I'm like, wow, this is like gonna change some stuff. This might
Yeah.
be the right time to like work on a startup, you
Yeah.
know. So nevertheless, I applied to get into NVIDIA Inception
Okay.
because we're AI. And if anybody in AI or data science or anything like
Yeah.
that, there's specific programs for specific industries. But if
Yeah.
your startup involves anything with AI or data,
Yeah.
getting into the NVIDIA Inception, Databricks,
Oh yeah,
Microsoft
so like yeah,
startups.
so Databricks. So I just had an article come across my thing that said like they just did a Series K round of funding. I said, you know, I didn't even know you could go go that high. But
Yeah,
yeah,
they're getting better money in venture capital than they are in probably the private market
yeah,
or no,
going
in the public markets.
public market, yeah. But the thought occurred to me that their success is coming from, you know, storing all this data. And
Yeah,
so here you got a platform where you can store, you know, and so explain to people what a slide is, digital pathology. So like what is that?
sure. So like we deal with data, but it's like a different kind of data. It's like images.
Yeah,
And let me see if can I share my screen?
yeah, yeah. Go right ahead.
Okay.
Yeah. So look, okay. I see
You
something
see my
coming up.
screen?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is our website. And so these slides are basically tissue that they're placed on slides that pathologists look at. And one of the things that we built is a system to help manage that kind of workflow. So you
Mm-hmm.
upload slides to the platform, they immediately become available. You can share, annotate, and work together. These images, they're whole slide images, so they're like high resolution
So
images.
like a slide of an image of what? Like a kidney
Yeah,
or
this is a kidney right here, and you're looking at the glomeruli, which are help filter the blood. So these little things
okay,
right here.
okay,
And so when pathologists evaluate this stuff, you know, they do it at high resolution.
okay.
And so, yeah, see, we're involved in all these programs, including
Yeah. I
Deloitte.
see, yeah.
But once you go digital, then you can do AI and segmentation and quantification and analysis and other things like that. But essentially, what these slides are, they're tissue that are analyzed by pathologists who make their diagnoses using basically these slides. And the traditional way of doing that is using a microscope and sitting in an office and then like you know writing down your pathology report, and if you want a second opinion, you got to ship the physical slide in the mail or by courier to another hospital, which probably charges you for a second opinion, and and all that other stuff. So our platform is 100% digital. It allows people to communicate and collaborate on these cases, and it's globally distributed, so it works everywhere around the world. But yeah, so you go to digipath.ai. You can check it out, and we do have a product demo. I could
Yeah,
share.
that would be good. That would be good too. But let's talk about this Databricks for a minute, because like, what if you thought about your company like Databricks for slide, these type of image data, slide data, and then all of a sudden you're accumulating all these customers that are storing their data, and I think, I don't know what all kind of data Databricks is taking, but then now all these companies that they're storing data for, they're able to use AI with that data, and I think that's in essence what your platform is going to do, but it's going to be focused on these slides, right?
Yes, and so I think with Databricks, they just make it easier to do like distributed computing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're making it easier for you to distributed analysis on pathology slides, which is much more difficult than working with data tables. I
Yeah,
think with Databricks, you're looking at analyzing billions or millions of rows of data. So
yeah,
you need the distributed computing and
yeah,
multiple nodes to like crunch all that stuff, because you
yeah,
can't fit all that into memory. The
right,
same thing goes with these pathology slides. You can't fit a 4 GB slide through a neural network. It's too big. So
yeah.
how can you break these things down and do all that stuff and to do the analysis? Like those are the tools that we provide. So ours is more focused in the healthcare kind of life sciences area.
But yeah, wouldn't it be nice to imagine you having a Series K round a year, 2, 3 years from now?
Yeah, we'll see. We never know. We might, we could be acquired before then. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, but just the fact that they have this data, and now they're making it easy for the companies to use AI with the data. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, because they have a lot of customers that use their platform to basically leverage all of their internal stuff too. So, like, if you're
Yeah.
at a company and you have a internal document database, you can develop AI. You can build AI on top of that.
Uh-huh.
It's called developing a RAG system, a retrieval augmented generation, where you can
Mhm.
basically go through your database and retrieve the relevant information that you need without like having to manually search and do other things. So even in like terms of law, it's the same thing. Like you have a back in the day, people would actually have to go to a law library and actually
Uh-huh.
manually open a book and
Yeah.
then go through a case that cites another case.
Yeah.
Nowadays, with a lot of these law software, they're just basically building these RAG systems on top of all these published cases, and it's doing the same things. Like, oh, I want a case about such and such, and that that how is this case going to get decided based upon these facts or whatever. So
Mhm.
it's like all these AI systems and all these industries are leveraging like Databricks and all their tools because they make it easier to for data scientists and other people people who don't have the technical background and don't want to build out their own solutions to leverage the data that they do have. And so essentially that's kind of like what we're doing. We focus on the storage as well as the analytics.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but so like as far as the analytics and the AI stuff, what type of AI tools are you using, leveraging the AI stuff from Microsoft or AWS or NVIDIA? So how does that work with what you have?
Yeah, so we use AWS. They have their own Bedrock. That's what they call it, their platform for generative AI, and it gives you
Okay.
access to like all of the foundational models from Anthropic. I think even OpenAI has released some open source models that are available on Bedrock as well.
Okay.
And so using like those AWS, it kind of keeps it kind of within their ecosystem. So it's
Yeah.
sort of a complex integration, so it makes it more seamless to integrate with their existing products.
So
Um,
like so how does using I'm trying to think of how to ask this question. So you got some open source models and you got some proprietary models. So like, from a cost standpoint, the open source models are probably less expensive, than the proprietary, but in case the proprietary models might perform better and be more expensive. How do you think about that?
Yeah, so the pricing varies. I know Anthropics are usually the most expensive. Like, if you're using like the Opus model, that's like that per million tokens that can get up to like $75. I don't know the exact pricing,
Yeah.
but they do have some cheap. It depends on the task that you need to get done, and they do
Yeah.
have like very, very cheap models. Amazon has some of their own models, and I
Yeah.
can show you how some of those work because we've deployed some of them on our
Okay.
platform.
Yeah, that sounds interesting. Yeah.
Let me pull this up. Can you
Okay.
see my screen?
It's down there. Yep. Let me
Okay.
grab it. Yeah.
So we developed like this. This is our current platform, but we have this chat bot that we've built leveraging Bedrock, and
Okay.
it integrates in with our database, so you can ask the questions about all the data that you have stored on there. So I say, like, show me recent cases, and so it's going to go through the database and it's going to tell you, okay, how many cases that you have. Right now, we're using a very cheap model, so
Uh-huh.
it's not going to be super fast or anything, but this is just for demonstration purposes.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Um, but it's what it will do is it will go through and it will basically it'll go through and it'll tell you like, okay, yeah, show me recent cases, and I'll go through the list and say these are all the cases in your system that
Yeah.
are. There's 5 cases. They all have 5 slides each.
Okay.
They were uploaded on this date. This is the status of them, and then you can start asking more questions about your data.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's like how we're leveraging generative AI. It's using a
Okay.
chat bot, and you can develop agents. And like this is just like the beginning of this. We can eventually reference medical libraries. You can have it interact with the slides themselves.
Uh-huh.
So this is like one of the initial kind of products we work on in terms of developing like an AI kind of assistant on our platform.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
yeah.
So like I'm trying to think out loud. So like so this is using generative AI or so like but what about doing like some classification stuff or identifying cancer or all kind of stuff like that?
Okay, so we have like some computer vision models.
Okay.
Let me see if I can pull that up. I gotta make sure let me
Yeah,
share
take
my
your time.
screen. So this is my this is our. I mean, we have like different deployments with different tools.
Yeah.
Um, so essentially, we have the ability to do like image segmentation. And so
Okay.
when I was talking about like what are whole slide images, they're about like this big when you look at them in real life.
Okay.
Um, and so when you put them under a microscope, you can see them at very high resolution.
Gotcha.
So on our platform, you can upload these things. It's very fast, and then you can go in at high resolution.
Gotcha.
You can manually annotate these, so you can like by yourself, and then you can comment, and leave some comments.
Okay.
But at the same time, like, why do this? And then if you really want to segment like this glomeruli, so this is where like blood's being filtered in the kidney.
Yeah.
Really wanted to segment that, you'd have to manually go through and do it by hand.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So, but we have like some tools that we use to do that. So, one of the tools that we kind of developed or that implemented was like this. Was this It was a segmentation model. So this is like just a regular JPEG image. This is for demo purposes, and I'll show you how it
Yeah.
works on a pathology slide. So essentially, it does like automated kind of segmentation.
Okay.
So I can start a session, and then I select like, I want to annotate the dog. So you leave your you make your prompt, and then you run the segmentation, and boom, it's done. And then you can save these as masks, as annotations, and then when you go
Yeah.
back to your image just for annotations, it's already segmented.
Okay.
So this is like things that people use in pathology.
Yeah. So segmentation, in your sense, you're just pointing out the object, picking the object. Is that what you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
you can train models based upon that.
Okay.
And so this is going back to like a glomeruli image. And so it's like, how you think the model is going to perform on this kind of image? This is a biological image. This isn't a dog, but these
Uh,
models are very good.
mhm.
So let me change it. I'm gonna use the same tool. I'm gonna segment this glomeruli right here. So I just go through, select it, and then I hit generate mask, and boom, it's done. It perfectly outlines the glomeruli, and
Yeah.
I can create a new object, and let's try it. Let's segment this one up here. See how that one works. See, and so you can basically go through and kind of semi-automate that whole segmentation process just by using.
Yeah.
And then then you can start training models to automatically identify these glomeruli, and you can feed that through a neural network
Okay.
and train that up. And so now you have a model that automatically does like glomeruli segmentation. Then you can do like analysis and all that other stuff that comes along with that. But that's some of the basic AI segmentation tools that we've
Yeah.
integrated to our platform kind of at this point.
Yeah. Let's say you got a bunch of slides and you want to, run these slides through a filter or something to determine if they have cancer cells or something in them. And that would probably take a special kind of AI that knows what to look like for cancer and kidney tissue in that case. But is that something you foresee having in the future?
Yes. So developing these specialized modules for different analyses is kind of like where we're going.
Yeah.
Just having the basic segmentation and classification tools is kind of like the building blocks. And there's a lot of things that you can do, but in terms of computer vision, image segmentation is like, being able to identify something in an image. That's what segmentation is for, is how to separate signal from background. And then
Yeah.
there's binary classifiers. So you're trying to say, does this image tile contain cancer or not? And you can go
Yeah.
through that whole image and send a bunch of small image patches through a neural
Yeah.
network. And then you can get probability scores and develop heat maps. And it's just the same thing that they do for satellite imagery.
Yeah. Gotcha.
You can quantify the number of cells, the types of cells, all that stuff. So there's like a lot of advanced analysis that you can do using the neural networks and like computer vision models and stuff like that.
Yeah. Are you planning to develop some of your own proprietary algorithms, AI algorithms or models, such stuff?
But at the end of the day, the difficulty for us is because we're not like an open AI where we can just scrape the web. All of our data lives in hospitals and academic medical centers, so there's like a barrier to entry. So and there's like, you have to basically go and engage with like text transfer office, get data use agreements, licensing agreements, and all that other stuff. So there's a little bit more red tape, but
Yeah.
there's also protecting patient privacy, which is also important.
Yeah, because you definitely got to have anonymized data.
Yeah, anonymized data. So
Yeah.
those are all things that I've dealt with, like working in the industry. So I know all the tools to how to anonymize data and everything else.
Okay. Yeah. But yeah, that would, getting to the point where you can, because if you got your own tool, AI tool, then you're paying for the computational thing, but you're not paying the API fees, to use somebody else's.
Yeah, you're not paying our royalties.
Yeah. That
license fees.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And as you move further along, I can introduce you to some proprietary approaches, where you can have your own proprietary models. and cut down on some of that kind of cost and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
And just hosting or using GPUs is expensive. So setting
Yeah.
up cost optimization and, kind of building your own sort of tools is kind of like where we will eventually kind of go.
Yeah, and so I understand you have you have the ability to deploy your system to different countries where they have specialized data requirements.
Yes. So, our application is available globally, but
Okay.
most of the data is stored here in the United States and is distributed, I think, using a content delivery network.
Yeah.
Um, but then certain countries have data residency requirements, and so
Okay.
in order to meet that, you have to make sure all the data is stored kind of within that country. And so
Yeah.
we've deployed our application on top of like storage and data centers, pretty much anywhere in the world. So we have that capability to meet those requirements. Like in Europe, it's the same thing, and
Okay.
I think in like probably China, it's probably the same as well. They don't
Okay.
want the data outside of the United States so that people could like walk into a data center and try to download it or whatever.
Yeah. So you saying you can, like in Europe, you can confirm to the requirements there.
Yes,
Okay.
that's one of the issues too. Is if you're working with some data in Europe and you live in the United States and the latency, I don't think we don't have any issues because our application is built for global distribution. But
Okay.
it's also secure as well. So
Yeah.
you have to be authenticated, all the storage is secure, all the databases are secure, the APIs are secure. We built it for scalability and it's serverless. So we don't have to do any sort of image processing. Like all of our APIs read directly from object storage. So we basically set it up so that we're not paying. So like when you talk about paying for compute and
Yeah.
doubling your storage, like we don't have to do all that. Because when you talk, all the cloud developers have their own sort of kind of solution for digital pathology, and they all involve converting images to like DICOM or some other format. We
Yeah.
don't have to do that. We just work with the native images. As soon as they're uploaded, they're immediately available. There's no delays, no
Okay.
processing, nothing like that. So we're reducing storage costs, compute costs. It's like fractions of it's very small. The cost is minimal, and it makes it easier for people in countries that are cost sensitive.
Yeah. But like, so is there anything about your platform, like me as an individual, is it is it going to make it easier for the hospital or clinic or something to provide me the service I need and to get back information in a timely manner?
Yeah. So it reduces turnaround times by going digital because you're not waiting for carriers to pick up slides and to ship slides. If you want a second opinion, it can be almost instant within the same day. Normally, it would take you a week or two to get a second opinion because they got to collect the slides,
Yeah.
send them to the pathologist's office in another facility. And you're in places, if you're in places like Africa, it's like good luck. Sometimes they make decisions without even doing any pathology, you know.
Wow.
So, and then in Africa, what a lot of doctors would do, or not a lot, but they use things like WhatsApp. They take micro photos through their microscope and share photos using WhatsApp and other things that aren't secure and probably don't meet any sort of HIPAA compliance.
Yeah.
Or there's no HIPAA in Africa.
Yeah, but before I don't want to forget about this. And so your system you have as architect, you said serverless and all that stuff. But how did you learn about using that approach as opposed to doing some other approach?
Just from my experience in the industry and working at, I guess, Genentech, I was there for 4 years doing digital pathology and AI work.
Okay.
So I have a lot of industry experience working with these
Mhm.
images. I've taken courses at Harvard Medical School on advanced image analysis. Just having that industry knowledge, is
Yeah.
You know, it's very important, especially when you're talking about software, because, you know, that's what gives you an edge versus someone say, "Hey, I just want to do this kind of company." Not everyone can do it, and then you run into all kinds of mistakes and costs, and
Yeah.
like, you
Yeah.
know, so converting images and could cost you anywhere from $1 to $5 a slide. Now you're
Yeah.
going from that to almost nothing, you know.
Gotcha.
So making a scalable platform and picking the right tools and the right technology is something that you gain from going through this and working in the industry and working
Yeah.
with on developing these kinds of platforms and stuff like that. So it's just
Yeah.
from the industry knowledge.
Yeah, that's why I just want to make sure people understand that, you know, like when you work in an industry, you learn stuff, and so like it's and that's when you develop. You need to come up with ideas to solve problems in the industry you're in. That's what the startup world is all about. And we all have different jobs and do different things, and that's where our expertise come from. So that's what we have to leverage when we're starting to build out these AI applications. That inside knowledge there.
Yeah, it's like people who work in, like, I'm also on the city council, so I know that about providing city services and infrastructure. I also serve on the sanitary district here, and
Yeah,
so you can identify a lot of opportunities, whether it's code enforcement,
yeah,
building. There's a lot of like ways that you can develop applications and tools that can make people's lives more easier that you can
yeah,
sell. You know,
yeah,
so whatever industry you're in, it's like you can, if you know something is difficult to do and there's an easier way to do it, then that might be a good startup idea, and you might have some initial customers to test it out.
yeah,
So
yeah. That's really fantastic. Yeah, and that's why we encourage people, no matter what profession you're in, you know, what type of job you have knowledge that you can leverage to build an AI application, and you don't have to be technical or know about the technical stuff. You just have to know about your part, and then you partner with somebody or get a co-founder that knows the technical stuff, or hire the AI as your technical
and
co-founder.
get an agent.
AI agent as your
You- like I said,
yeah,
you can get a lawyer, you can get a business marketing specialist. You know,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yes. That's really so anything new you came across over the last week or two with all this AI stuff that you thought was interesting?
I mean, you know, I think that the technology is advancing fast. Um, I think, like, you know, I think with this AI, it's just like when calculators probably first came out, you know. And like I remember because when I grew up, I think that's when I was born in the 80s, you know, and
Yeah.
so when calculators, like I remember like all my teachers saying, okay, you have to do it by hand, you know, don't use a
Uh-huh.
calculator. And
Okay.
nowadays, the people like, you know, don't use AI. But I'm like, why would you not use something that could make you get things done faster, you know? Um, and learning how to use this tool to your benefit, you know,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, like there's um there's some usefulness in learning things and how to do things traditional way. Like, you know, if it's like when I got into doing computer vision, it was like before like all the deep learning was taking off. Like there was a
Yeah.
whole different way to do computer vision. Some of those tools are still like useful and fast and easy to
Yeah.
use. But then you have to go out and learn a new tool and learn how to use AI, and our AI is taking over. And so you got to just like, you know, stay up to date. You know, and nowadays they have coding agents, they have design agents. If you have Figma, you can get a mock-up real quick, like
But
using
so,
AI.
so like, yeah, so like, and you know, before this term agent came along, um, you know, so like one of my business partners, he has some proprietary AI. I never thought about calling them agents or anything like that. But like, let's say for let's say you got an agent that knows what uh, let's say you got a kidney AI agent. It knows what good non-cancerous kidneys
Look
uh,
like
look like, and so this agent um, it is trained on what normal kidney cells look like. So that means when you can use it as a filter, and so when you come up with a new image and input it to that agent, it can tell you whether it's cancerous or not.
Yep.
So imagine having an agent like that, and does that kind of, so have you ever thought about the opportunity for something like that with the images?
It honestly doesn't even have to be that complicated.
Okay.
Because in labs, like they have someone that will sit at a table and look at every glass slide and then determine whether there's tissue on that slide or not.
Okay.
It's something that you could easily automate and develop a basic computer vision algorithm to like sort out and QC images and like looking for whether the image is out of focus or not, detecting artifacts. Like those are the
Yeah, I'm saying, so the way I see something like that way you can just do some screening of your images immediately by running it through this filter.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I'm thinking about. But then you could have filters for certain type of cancer cells, and so that's kind of what the idea is. But you could you could even have a filter that knows what cancer cells look like, and as you run your stuff through there, it could tell you that there's cancer cells, in that or whatever. But it's just all kind of, it's just however you want to use the technology. I think it's what the deal is.
Yeah.
And
nowadays it's almost like performing better than doctors. I think like I was reading I think there was some algorithm that was developed at like the Mayo Clinic or something, and it was like 95% accurate. And then your average pathologist is like 50% accurate. So,
But to me, once you get these agents, they can serve as screening.
Pre-screening.
There's another piece of technology, that actually it's like a foveator, but it actually can foveate over the image. I looked through the image and find the cancer cells, and so because if that foveator knows what a cancer cell looks like, that's like an AI agent you can actually use for that. But think about it in the future. So if you think something like that would be useful, maybe we can look into,
and the cool thing is that you can integrate in more than just imaging data. You can integrate it all these various, or whether it's different lab tests, clinical history, images. It's multimodal analysis.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. So it sounds like there's plenty of opportunity there, Webster, and we, so I guess what I normally ask folks as we wind up here, like if the audience has any question, I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier. We're getting ready to wrap up. So if you got any questions about Webster's application here, and about his journey, about AI or whatever, feel free to ask now. And I apologize for not, letting everybody know you could ask questions. We've been here just running our mouth. Yeah. But with Webster, I kind of see. So right now, just from my observation, you're running your startup. You're a city council person. You serve on some board. So is there? Do you also have a job or something elsewhere? Or, because a lot of founders complain they don't have time to work on their startup.
I get being on the city council, I get benefits. I get a little stipend. I'm making it work. My wife works.
Okay, good.
So I'm full time on my company.
Good.
So there's a difference between someone who's like part time. It's like, okay, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it next week. But like, when you're like really in on it, like you get things done, because it's like they say like I forgot what there's like a saying like burn the boats or whatever, or like
Yeah,
once you like the scapegoat or whatever.
yeah,
But yeah, so um I'm full time on it. You know, you do have to adjust your lifestyle. So if you're
yeah,
used to like traveling and like, going out and doing all that stuff, you gotta dial it back and scale down
yeah.
you have to scale down your expenses. So
Yeah,
yeah.
and a lot of the stuff for people that go through our cohorts, they, it's rarely we get somebody that's working on their startup full time. Most of the people are still got two or three jobs or whatever, and they're and going through the cohort to learn this stuff. Because if you don't ever learn, these things, how are you going to ever get a better situation, for what for your life, if you don't kind of make a commitment to work on it.
Yeah. I mean, not everyone has the the bandwidth to do it, but as long as you're making progress, and if you invest your money right, if you have extra money, you can get your app built on the side, um, and like I mean, honestly, if you don't, if you have a job, I said keep it, you know, but just like just know that like some of the things that you do, um, your employer can try and claim intellectual property
Oh
over,
yeah, you definitely got to be careful about that.
so there's a whole lot of like complexities like about that stuff. So for me, I work in biotech, and so I know if I'm working in the digital pathology space and I'm developing my own sort of application, then there's going to be some sort of IP issues down the road, and you don't use your work resources to build your startup. Use your own personal, separate your life.
Yeah, yeah, definitely be careful
Yeah,
about that.
yeah.
And so, like, I guess Jonathan, wants to know if you're doing stock options and stuff. I never heard about that with a startup before, but I guess that's probably an option you have.
I mean, if you're a co-founder or you're actually advising the company, then there's usually some sort of advisory agreement and shares that are associated with that. And or if you're an investor, there's ways to get in with some startups. Like they have a lot of early stage companies that have friends and family rounds, where
Yeah,
you can offer, your family future equity once it converts,
yeah,
based upon the money that they put in. Usually they get pretty good terms because they don't put in a whole lot of money.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, like,
But
yeah,
just realize it's a risk too. You just
yeah.
so everything is risky. So, only put your money into good ideas, so
But I've heard startups raising money, but I'm trying to think if I heard somebody suggest an option, a stock option, to raise money.
well,
I,
they do crowdfunding. There's some crowdfunding sites for
yeah,
startups.
yeah, yeah, and yeah. So but like I'm just little puzzle, about that. But yeah, like Johnson say, you do have an inspirational story, but so that is true, and that's part of the reasons why we have guests on, so they can inspire, other founders to do stuff, and that's why I appreciate you coming on to,
Yeah.
to share here at the last minute. And so we want to do whatever we can to help you grow your company, and that's why we work with all our startups. So like if you got questions, don't hesitate to ask, because we want you to grow and keep moving up that traction curve, and that's just what we need to do, and that we need to help each other do that.
Yeah. If anybody wants any more information about DigPath, you can check out our website. We have pathologists across 3 different continents testing our platform right now. So,
Oh, fantastic. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. All righty. So thanks a million, and definitely, as you once I end the thing, just make sure your local video gets up uploaded so I can get that to you and everything. We appreciate you coming on, and everyone, we'll see you all next week, and just take advantage of some of these opportunities out there. Thanks a lot, Webster. We'll see you.
Peace.
Okay. Bye-bye.